Well, good evening. Good evening. Welcome to St. James Family Worship, the perfect place for people who aren't. I thank God that you took the time to be a part of this devotional review tonight of our devotional, here at St. James Family Worship. And today is day 197. 197 straight days of devotionals here at St. James Family Worship. Tonight, the power of persistent prayer. The power of persistent prayer. Our key verse is found in Ephesians 6:18, and it says, "Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers." Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers. Prayer is an often misunderstood act. Prayer is sometimes or is something some people have given up on, really, due to the lack of understanding of prayer. They just threw it to the side, say, I don't want to deal with it. I never get answers when I pray. You got to understand, prayer is simply communicating with God. Simply having a conversation with Him. I've heard people say in some arenas that if you pray more than one time about a thing, it shows a lack of faith or unbelief. That, to me, that's not actually true. You can ask God for something more than once and still maintain faith. Matter of fact, you're maintaining and having faith. That's why you're continuing to ask. Unfortunately, God doesn't always answer on the first ring. You know, a lot of times you try to run to the phone, catch it on the first ring. A lot of times God don't answer the phone on the first ring. Sometimes He delays in His answers. And that's God's prerogative. Why? Because God is God and God is God alone. He can do whatever He wants. This is His planet. So sometimes you have to be persistent in prayer. Persistent prayer is not really for God to hear you. Persistent prayer is to keep you focused. It's to keep you focused. Persistent praying brings you closer to God. Persistent praying keeps you in contact with God and builds your relationship with God. Understand, the more time you spend with anyone, the better your relationship is going to become. We're reminded in our key verse today to stay alert, be persistent in prayer. Stay alert and be persistent in prayer. Matter of fact, the text says in Ephesians 6:18, stay alert, be persistent in prayer. Now, got to understand, when we're talking about being persistent in prayer, what is being persistent? What is persistent? The word persistent means to continue firmly or tenaciously in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. We're told to continue in prayer and not stop, not give up. You know, a lot of times people want to give up, but you got to learn not to stop. You can't give up. You can't get weary in well doing and in pursuing what's right. You got to keep pursuing prayer. You know, what you want, God has it. And if He has it, He can deliver it to you if you stay persistent. Many people in the Bible were persistent. Jacob was persistent, very persistent with God, and wrestled with God all night. He could have given up, could have quit and said, it must not be my time. This may not be for me. No, not Jacob. Jacob just kept wrestling. Jacob kept being persistent. His hip came out of joint wrestling with God, but he kept holding on and being persistent and said, I won't let go until you bless me. Now, you need to take that same advice. take that same tenacity and say, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue to bombard heaven with my petitions until my petitions are answered, especially if you know that what you're praying for is in the will of God. When you pray in the will of God, God said he would hear you and that you could have whatsoever you pray for. Daniel was a persistent prayer. You know, he prayed about 21 days with no answer. But when the answer came, the angel informed him that God heard him on the first day. Did you understand that? Wow. He heard him on the first day. So don't lose your blessing during the hold up time. The angel that was on the way to deliver the blessing and deliver the answer got held up. So sometimes in the meantime, you may not get the answer, but don't lose the blessing during the hold up time. Stay persistent in your prayers and know that God is on the way. He's working and making the necessary arrangements to get the blessing to you that you're requesting. Elijah was a human just like me and you. And yet the Bible said when he prayed earnestly and was persistent that no rain would fall. He said, I'm going to pray that no rain is going to fall. And watch this. He continued and he was persistent, believing, doubting nothing. And no rain fell for 3.5 years. There is power in persistent, earnest, and fervent and effectual prayers of righteous people. God has declared that he would answer sincere prayer. So don't get discouraged during the meantime waiting. Remember Ephesians 6:18 tells us to stay alert, be persistent in your prayers. And if you do this, look forward to abundant blessings from God Almighty. God bless you and God keep you tonight is my prayer for you.